Hello, everyone. I am going to be giving you a concise summary of 30 Years of Distance Education Personal Reflections by Tara Lynn McKee. Tara Lynn McKee writes 30 Years of Distance Education Personal Reflections from the first person about her experience in distance education ranging from a student to a teacher. She identifies the field as having an identity crisis, as it is constantly changing pedagogies and technologies used. Distance education is in a constant evolution. McKee cites Jim Taylor frequently. Taylor has categorized distance education into 5 generations. The first generation is correspondence education, using only printed materials. Correspondence education through print allowed for flexibility but did not allow for advanced interactivity. McKee believes that the design and management of the course material are more important than the delivery method. Advantages of the correspondence generation through printed materials was the ease and permanence of the materials, the limited technology needed, and the inexpensive resources. The disadvantages of this generation were the limited interaction between the classmates and the teacher, the lack of motivation provided by the fixed materials, and the difficulty to evaluate the work. Communication is a key element in education. McKee cites Moore as saying, "It is the separation of learners and teachers that profoundly affects both teaching and learning. With separation, there is a psychological and communication space to be crossed, a space of potential misunderstanding between the inputs of teacher and those of the learner." The second generation was mixed media delivery. Flexibility in time, place, and pace remained, but the introduction of computer-based learning and interactive video allowed for more advanced interactive delivery. The second generation introduced audio tape, videotape, computer-based learning, and interactive video through disc and tape. Advantages of this generation were the enhanced delivery options. There are now more opportunities for students and teachers to interact. Mixed media also allowed students to visualize and hear material rather than just read. The disadvantages to the second generation were the sound quality if educators tried to record their in-class lectures instead of recording in a quiet setting. The work often got tedious if it was not organized well and categorized before being sent. The third generation was telelearning. Telelearning took away the flexibility aspect of distance education as people had to be available at a particular time. It still included the advanced interactive delivery, but the materials were no longer highly refined when video conferencing and audio teleconferencing were used. Telelearning included audio teleconferencing, video conferencing, audiographic communication, and broadcast TV and radio. The third generation addressed transactional distance concerns by allowing people across the country to take the same class. It allowed for synchronous interaction through audio and video. It motivated students and allowed them to monitor their progress more personally. Students could practice additional examples on individual topics when needed. But the new technology meant a new learning curve. Students and instructors needed to learn new technology. Student and teacher interactions were often awkward due to the turn-taking discussion to share thoughts. The fourth generation, described as flexible learning, satisfied almost all of the characteristics that the other generations did not. It was flexible, had highly refined materials, had advanced interactive delivery, and finally, the institutional variable cost approached zero, except in computer-mediated communication. Flexible learning used delivery technologies such as interactive multimedia, online, internet-based access to World Wide Web resources, and computer-mediated communication. This allowed for students and teachers to talk face-to-face through interactive multimedia. Students no longer had to learn in the same way. Education was customizable. Students could now work more collaboratively with peers through the internet. Due to the new technology and means of communication, professors had to discuss and reevaluate their policies, code of ethics, innovation, culture, and practice. This online world opened up new doors and new possibilities, but also potential problems. The fifth and final generation, known as intelligent flexible learning, satisfied every characteristic for every delivery method. Intelligent flexible learning enhanced the fourth generation. To the delivery technologies used in the fourth generation, it added automated response systems and campus portal access to institutional processes and resources. It was faster, more fluid, and more flexible than the fourth generation, but is changing so rapidly that many have a hard time keeping up. McKee believes the process of change management is more important than the tools and technologies used. The ideal experience for distance education would be a flexible experience that allows students to connect through many networks. Distance learning needs to allow for the sharing of ideas and must be altered to meet specific class needs.